Hey, welcome back to another week of Convincing Idiots. Thank you for checking us out. Tonight's episode, you're not going to want to miss. You'll want to stay tuned. We talk Super Bowl commercials. We talk the game. We talk the different trailers that we saw. Come on, nerd culture. You're in it. This week's Ask an Idiot, we ask, why do you go to the movies? Well, I know we ask each other. You can answer on your own. And then our main event, Mount Rushmore of TV characters. Is it Brian? I know it ain't me. Could be Homer Simpson. Who knows? You know who does? You do after you listen to Convincing Idiots right now. So, what are you waiting for? Let's start the show.
All right. Test.
Test.
Call it again? Convincing Idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got to hold poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Cajun.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean. They call me the Zennial, or I call myself that, or...
Brian Gen X.
And now crickets.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no Nicholas this week. He is doing a quick S&M session with... well, he actually didn't tell us who. He said there was a few fellas. But anyways, you know, he's got his thing going on this week. So Brian and I are going to take the reins ourselves. Just
Yet again. Mm-hmm.
So,
That's right.
Brian, again, hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm terrific. Before we get into all that, hey, how are yous and whatnots?
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody's going to need to do Nick's job because he ain't doing it. He's getting whipped. Anyway, could you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So Nick normally tells us where to find the show here and all that good stuff here. So you might be listening to us on demand. We could be found on all major podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast. Just wherever you listen to podcasts, pull up the Convincing Idiots podcast, give us a follow or subscribe. And as we publish new episodes every week, though, we'll pop into your feed free of charge. You might be watching us on our YouTube channel at Convincing Idiots. All full-length video episodes are there, segments and whatnot. Check us out there. Give us a free subscribe while you're at it. We can be found also on the Boss Code Media TV network. You can find that app on your smart television or your portable device. Pull up the app, download, subscribe, and we're on there along with other creative folks in that network. All show information can be found in two main places. Our Linktree page is Google Linktree Convincing Idiots. It's simply a page with links to our social media where you can listen to us, etc. And our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. Again, all show information is there. Links to new episodes, links to videos. And both on the Linktree and our website, you can also find the link to our podcast merch store if you are so inclined to sponsor us that way. Shirts, pint glasses, mugs, whatever. Logos, our wonderful faces are on merch out there, so go check that out. And you can also sponsor the show in other ways on our website and podcast page as well. What's that, sir?
Well, have we got situated with the butt plugs, the Convincing Idiots butt plugs yet? Not yet?
Yes, not just yet.
Okay.
Not just yet. We're getting...
Forget I said anything then.
Yeah, we have a photo proof of Nick's thumb that we're trying to figure out how to put on those.
That's right.
So
That's tiny though.
working
He's
on
a little guy.
we're working on that. Yeah,
I'm getting a butt plug. I want something more substantial.
That's right. But yeah, if you do anything at all, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, rate, review. If you're
It
able to do
helps
that.
the algorithm for people to find us.
Yes, that is right. So, so we appreciate your support out there. Everybody, we've seen some new countries listening to us lately. It's pretty exciting. So yes, if you are listening to us for the first time, welcome, and we hope you come back. And if you're a repeat listener, again, thank you for coming back and continuing to tune in. It means a lot to us.
If I could French kiss every one of you motherfuckers for this, I would.
Sure.
I mean that from the bottom of my ass.
That's right. That's right. We'll work up to it.
All right.
Starting with Germany. That's where we're going to start there.
There we go. Come here, Germany. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why you feel this way. I think we have just everyone listening to us in Germany is just super attractive. I think I don't know why I think that way. It just sort of.
I just assumed. Yeah. I kind of thought the same thing.
Yeah.
You think German listeners of the Convincing Idiots podcast, you think sexy.
Yeah. German and the Irish as well. Our folks in Ireland.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know why I feel that way. It's just the thing. So, how are you?
There's just something about the thought of red pubic hair tickling my nose. It just really does it for me.
Right.
I've been terrific, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I am rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if I did anything. Just announce to the world, just kind of hanging out and hanging out with kids this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Watch a few shows, watched a big football game, which we will get into later.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to, my life is just sweet sexiness on a repeat. Sweet sexiness on a repeat is my life. So other than just kind of, dodging the poontang, because they keep chasing me and I've got a beautiful woman. I don't want to any other sort of females or males. It doesn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
I have a beautiful young lady who adores me, and she washes my feet sometimes and braids my hair. I don't need anybody else, Brian. But when you look like this, there's you have to run. You have to, there's a lot of trickery. I have a lot of fake mustaches I have to wear to avoid the ladies and the mental I was going to say mental patient. No, ladies and the gentlemen from, trying to get some of this man meat, this Deanie meat. That's what that is.
That's right. It's constant battle.
Deanie meat is in high demand.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Other than that, Brian, what about you? How are you doing? What have you been up to?
Doing well. I had a nice weekend, nice full weekend last weekend. So Friday, hung out with some friends to in part wish a good friend Mary birthday last Friday. So she has been a nurse in the area for many years. So just, man, that's a hard job, man. When you really hear the stories and how difficult that job is as someone who does that for a living, I mean, appreciate the medical workers out there, man, especially through all the pandemic and everything like that. So just a hardworking lady, great friend. So it was nice to actually went out to Medina, Dean, went to the Wrecking Crew Brewery, which I'd never been to before. Nice.
I don't know if I've ever been there either.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool place. Decent beer. So, go check them out. And Saturday, Allie and I, love the girlfriend, went out to Hartville and had Hartville Kitchen. So if you're in this area, I mean, Some people don't even know what the heck we're talking about. It's like we have local Amish,
Right. Especially
folks.
if you just Hartville Kitchen. It's a very
That's right.
strange wording if you're not from the area. But if you are
That's
from
right.
the area, you know Hartville Kitchen.
Absolutely. So it's authentic Amish cooking. Man, was it so good! I haven't eaten there, and I don't recall when. So we had a nice afternoon there, and then saw a nice Kiss tribute show, Mr. Speed, local band.
I saw the videos of that. Looked fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun in the Goodyear Theater, and then the Super Bowl on Sunday, and we'll talk about that later. So I got together with friends for that. So yeah, just a nice full weekend, and Saturday again Tuesday for Valentine's Day. Got some great sushi at the local Hideout. It's called in Firestone Park area here in Northeast Ohio. So yeah, just getting out, friends, quality time. That's when I'm at my habit. If I would have saw, you guys and Peyton, I would have really. I saw Mom for a little bit too, so I would have saw almost everybody. But yeah,
That's a
so how are
full.
you,
That's
sir?
a full-hearted weekend.
Nice full week, absolutely. Yeah. So how are you, man?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. Oh, I did get a note in here from Nick because since he's busy, he did want me to let you know what he's been up to. It just says ball gag and mouth, and you know what? We could ask him later. We don't have to go into that now. But for myself, I'm okay. Again, delightful. Yeah, I don't have much to say this week, as in my personal life. Now, we're talking about nerd news. I mean, we watched some of these trailers on the Super Bowl. Some that just had nothing to do with the Super Bowl that just kind of dropped in its own atmosphere. And we have, I don't want to, lead too much on, but our main topic tonight is quite fucking fantastic.
That's right. Agree. So we're going to get into our Mount Rushmore of TV characters. So we're both wearing TV-themed shirts, which may have something to do with some of our favorite TV characters of all time, perhaps.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. Well, before we get into all that stuff, though, let's get into some idiot reviews. Have you seen anything interesting you wish to recommend to our viewers and listeners, sir?
I guess. I just got caught up on, when you're hearing this, ladies and gentlemen, you will hear, I won't be caught up per se, but as of recording right now, we did get caught up on The Last of Us.
Okay, so that's episode 5, right?
Yep. I caught up on episode 5. Yeah, that was something else. That was, it really does just kind of draw you in and just keeps hammering you with everything. You know what I mean? Like the feelings and the episode 3 with
Nick Offerman.
What a great episode. I mean, talk about touching and it just shows just how well written and what Nick Offerman can do. Jeez Louise, he's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm caught up. I love it. I can't recommend a show enough other than we just got finished watching Knives Out. A couple weeks ago I watched Glass Onion.
Okay.
And I'd never seen Knives Out. And everybody kept telling me the same thing. Whoa, Glass Onion was good, but what as good as Knives Out? So I looked at all the streaming, which it wasn't streaming anywhere. I looked at renting, and you're going to rent it for $4 or whatever. And then I looked at Amazon. I got it out the door, shipped to me for $5. So you know what? I bought it.
There you go.
And then we watched it tonight, and I'm glad I did buy it. What a great movie.
Yeah.
Well written, very smart. And when you think if somebody told me Daniel Craig is going to do a really strong, thick Kentucky accent, you would go, that's going to be awful. That's going to be horseshit. But there's something so compelling about that character. Like you said a few weeks ago, checking out the archives, everybody. You want to see him in more. You just want him to be in more movies as this character. It's so good. I was very impressed. I'm just more upset that I didn't get to it sooner. So
yeah.
but I'm glad I got to it now. And then I know we're going to talk about probably some Super Bowl commercials. This one I didn't see in the Super Bowl, but it was not leaked, but it was put online just a couple days ago. That is the teaser trailer for Ted Lasso. It is coming back, March 15th or something like that?
Okay.
And it's very quick. It's just them kind of writing the word believe, all the different players and characters writing believe on a piece of paper and then presenting it to him in the locker room. And I'm excited. That is my favorite show currently on TV. And I'm glad it's back. The rumor is that it could be this is the last season in this iteration. I don't know what that means, but that's been said or rumored. So we'll see. Other than the Super Bowl, Brian, that's all I got right now. What about you?
Well, I'm with you. I mean, I'm also current on The Last of Us. I agree with you. Just a very compelling show. It's got it's got a feel like some of the better Walking Dead episodes where you get attached to characters and a lot of drama happens and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And humans are often the worst enemy in those type of worlds, even more dangerous than the zombies or creatures that they're fighting and all that. And it's really no different in this world. So yeah, just well done. The relationship between him and not the daughter, but him and the younger girls is very, very well done. So yeah, like you say, just go check that out on HBO Max. And last night on HBO Max, I caught a new stand-up special, Mark Maron. So
I've been wanting to get to that.
Yeah, so it's something dark, something I can't remember what it was. It's something darker comedy, whatever. It's definitely dark comedy for sure. So
Bleak into darkness.
So I think that's right, something like that. But you have to like dark humor. If you don't like dark humor, don't check this out.
I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I know of the story about his girlfriend and what happened. And I know he does it. That talks about it in his stand-up. So that's something. That's got to be.
I didn't know that happened to him, but that was sad. But it's also good that he can, joke about it and bring it out in the open. So he's very honest about it, and but he touches on that and religion and abortion and all kinds of different things that could be very touchy subjects for some. So if you don't like that type of humor, don't check it out. But if you do, like I do, you'll like him a lot. So I haven't seen a lot of his stuff here, but I got hooked. I started to become more of a fan of his when he did that the show about the Glow that was on Netflix for a couple seasons there. So
you listen to this podcast?
I don't, but now it makes me want to.
He's a good interviewer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, very smart guy. He was on Howard Stern recently as well, talking about his stand-up special and all that. So I heard that interview on Howard Stern and made me want to go check out the special HBO Max. So yeah, like an hour, easy watch. So go check that out for sure. And then that's kind of it. You mentioned the big television program over the weekend that a lot of people watched, the Super Bowl.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Night Court, but yeah, a lot of people probably watched the Super Bowl too.
Almost as many as the reboot of Night Court.
I still have to look at the numbers, but it's close. I think.
Yeah. Our last episode on YouTube, it was close.
Before we do the Super Bowl. Did you? I think it just dropped tonight. Did you watch the new trailer for The Mandalorian? It's a scene. It's like part of a scene. Like not just like a quick, excuse me, not a quick, kind of glancing trailer-esque depiction. This is actual scene between Din Djarin and Carl Weathers. Whatever his name is, but yeah, it's Grogu makes a like candy float off his desk and eats it. It's March 1st. That's coming.
Wow, a couple weeks, man.
Coming
flying
quick.
by, man. Yeah.
Just like Nick every night, coming quick.
That's right. That's right. Maybe like tonight. I don't know.
There's a ring and it's stopping him. Again, I don't want to speak out of school.
Okay. All right, so the Super Bowl obviously is full of, it's the game itself. There's many pop culture things throughout the game with, like you might have mentioned already, the commercials, the halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of what do you think of the game? Maybe start there. No, it's not a sports show, but just the game in general. What do you think of the game itself?
It was a good game. I lost. Well, I did. I went to because we don't have them as a sponsor, so I went to a certain site that was offering. If you put X amount of money in, they give you X amount of bets, for later.
Mm-hmm.
And I used those later, 200 of those later for one bet.
Mm-hmm.
And it was both teams had to get a touchdown in both halves and a field goal in both halves.
And that did happen.
It did not, because Kansas City,
they didn't get a field goal.
It bounced off the fucking upright and cost me.
That's right.
And it cost me $3,500.
Oh my goodness!
Didn't cost me $3,500. I didn't put $3,500, but it prevented me from getting $3,500. When that bounced off it was early in the game, so you're like, that sucks. But then you watch them all do everything else they need to do, and then at the end, it was that bouncing off the upright.
That's tough.
What was his name? Whatever his name was. Bounced off the upright, and I believe, and I speak out. I don't know how much, and I don't know if it was the same amount as me, but I think Nick made the same bet because I know we're talking about. So I don't know how much he put on. I know I went all in, and yeah. Yeah. So other than that, but you take it in stride. I didn't put, what I mean.
It's free money.
Actually, 200 exactly. So it is what it is. It sucks, but the game, it was a cool game. It was a very good game, but it just sucks that it ended the way it did, with the controversy and with the holding penalty. That clearly it was holding, but should they have? Was it enough holding to call it last 2 minutes of the game to literally end the game?
Yeah.
I mean, rules are rules. I get it. So, but it just sucks. And then the pussy way, Kansas City wouldn't score the touchdown. So, you know what I mean? They just kind of ham-hawed and kind of waited it out for longer than most teams do.
Smart.
It is, but it made for a kind of a shit ending. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was pretty good coaching and discipline there. The guy
absolutely
stopped at the goal line, the running back, and had enough brains to slide or whatever and suck up more time. Yeah, they had like 4 minutes to go of the game, 4 minutes to go plus, and Philadelphia didn't get the ball, of course, until like 8 seconds to go. That was it. So pretty good stuff. Pretty good
great
stuff.
Game. It's what the game was exactly what two first place teams going at it in the championship should be, except the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. It'll be nice not to have any controversy at all.
Goddamn field goal.
But overall, it was one of the better Super Bowls that I've seen. Certainly, I mean, like you said, it was clearly the two best teams playing. It was the most points scored by a losing team ever at 35 points for Philadelphia. Well, and cool. There were other records as well. With I think Jalen Hurts had the most rushing yards by a quarterback, broke Steve McNair's record from years back with Tennessee. See that. There's a few other records as well. The punt return for 60-some yards. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of exciting plays for sure. So you would expect to see both those teams make another run at it. It wouldn't be surprising,
Absolutely.
So, yeah, very good stuff. So, so beyond the game, you mentioned commercials. So I don't have a lot of.
Well, real quick,
go ahead.
Before we get to the commercials, because I don't think we're gonna you and I in this generation that we're from. Yeah. What do you think? Real quick. What do you think?
I'm just not as in tune with a lot of newer music. That's on me. I'm stuck in the past, but I do acknowledge that Rihanna is, definitely a talent. I mean, she has a great voice. Some of the songs I certainly did recognize. There were definitely popular songs with Diamond and a few other ones there. I thought the floating stages was a neat effect for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. So it was good. I mean, overall, it was compelling. I mean, some of the, this is just, I don't get some of the dance moves a little bit, and some of the weird, the big coats and different. And I know she wore a big coat to honor a designer or somebody that she was friends with. I saw something like that. Yes, that made a lot of buzz.
Should a pregnant lady have been up that high on the platform? That's my only concern, for the safety. No, actually, I don't give a shit what happens to her. But, good for her. When we get knocked up and dance around in the sky, what the fuck ever. What do I care?
Yeah.
She sounded good.
Got a lot of, I agree.
She looked good. There wasn't they didn't know run-ins, no special run-ins. It was fine. It was solid. It was music. She's one of the most talented singers in the world. So yeah, it was a good voice, but whatever. I don't get why people are upset or even happy about it. Like you said, it was there. It was there.
Yeah,
fine.
I enjoyed last year's more. I think with the old school hip hop artists, and stuff like that.
Absolutely,
that was pretty cool. My favorite of all time is probably the Prince halftime show from many early 2000s.
I agree.
It's gonna be hard to top that for me, but
yep.
Like you say, it's not the best I ever saw, but it certainly was not the worst I ever saw, for sure.
Again, it's so commercialized, and it's just kind of blah at this point, right? I mean, put a fucking masturbating bear out there on stage. I don't give a shit. Let's get back to the game. All right, we're done.
Right. Yep.
But what I was happy about was, in between all of this rubbish, we got some fun commercials. We got some kick-ass trailers for upcoming movies.
Yes.
That I am quite excited about.
So give me one. So what was your favorite commercial before we get to the trailers?
The Hellman's commercial. The Hellman's commercial. With John Hamm and Brie Larson in the fridge.
Oh, yeah.
Pete Davidson says he's going to eat them. Come on, I love John Hamm. And Brie Larson, how do you go wrong with that combination? The only thing that it's unfortunate is that Pete Davidson is going to get to eat her, and not any of us. So other than that,
well,
it was my favorite commercial.
Yeah, that was all right. Yeah,
What about you? Oh, I know yours. I know yours. Work day.
That was pretty good. Yeah, with the old
all the rock stars.
Ozzy and Paul Stanley was very good in that. Joan Jett. Let's see, Billy Idol was in that. So that was pretty cool.
That was fun.
Yeah, that makes you realize your age a little bit there, because they're all, 70 years old. Those guys.
What is Ozzy sober?
Yeah,
because he sounds he sounds so good. He looks great. Yeah. God bless him. I mean, he does look fantastic, and he's got his timing back, and you can understand what he's saying.
Yeah,
and not just those commercials, but like interviews I've seen him in recently.
Yeah, poor guy. I mean, just not to derail the topic, but he just canceled all his tours. So he had a big tour scheduled and announced he just can't do it. Just can't handle the travel, and so he can't do it. So I would not be shocked that he's got some health issues. He's got injuries, and just hasn't been able to fully recover to go on the road like that. It would not shock me though. He does a residency perhaps somewhere and make people come out to see him, and
that'd be good.
Vegas or something like that. So nothing's been announced, but that would not surprise me. So he does have a new album out, and he won a couple Grammys actually for it. So but yeah, that was a cool commercial. And then I like the dog one. Was very sweet. The dog that was tearing up the house, and he got him a friend, the dog. That was a sweet commercial. Don't recall what it was for.
It was Amazon.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
Am I the only one that watched that and goes, "You can buy fucking dogs off Amazon"? And they had to explain to me, no, you couldn't. That they were buying the crate, but it was a little confusing to me. I thought it appeared that they were promoting buying a dog off Amazon, so I was a little confused.
Not
it's
yet.
coming.
Yep.
Like Nick with a bald gag in his mouth. It's coming.
Right. That's right. And then I thought the Blue Moon commercial was clever. So it was like the Coors Light, Middle Light, guys going back and forth.
Yeah.
This is the Coors Light commercial or Middle Light? And then it was like, no, it's a Blue Moon commercial. I thought, that was surprising. So that was clever. That was about it. Not a lot of, it seems like the commercials.
Let me remind you of a couple of these.
Yeah, please go ahead.
If you will. You have Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul come back for Popcorners. Doing the Breaking Bad. I like that one because it brought the original bad guy from the show.
That's right.
That was fun.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Brought back Alicia Silverstone for Rakuten.
That was good. You're right.
For Clueless.
Yes, that was good.
Again, we touched on the Ozzy Osbourne in Workday. I enjoyed this one because I'm such a fan of TV show Scrubs. The Donald Faison and Zach Braff and John Travolta singing.
That was nice.
In the street. That was cool.
Was nice. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm there yet of like being comfortable seeing him bald yet. Like, he always was. Like, you knew it was a wig for all these years, but like he's finally like embraced it, which is cool. I appreciate that. But it's kind of like when Al Roker lost got that band surgery on his stomach. And he looked like a Pez dispenser for all those years because like he was all skinny body and still a big fat head. Now it's kind of all evening out, but like it's so weird to see somebody that you've seen for all these years with such a quick change.
Yeah.
It's like, when I shaved my head last year, you know what I mean, for the whole year. I'd done it occasionally here and there, but like it was a shock to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked like, again, I look like fucking somebody's thumb, so I grew my hair back. The P. Diddy commercial, or just Diddy, I guess now, going my age.
That was a good one too.
That was fun. It got a kind of a bunch of different people involved. I like the Steve Martin Pepsi Zero. The Ben Stiller and Steve Martin. They did two separate ones for the Pepsi Zero about acting. Which one did you like better, Steve Martin or Ben Stiller?
The Ben Stiller made me laugh more when we did the.
I agree.
What was the model character he does? Did you take a drink? I asked you a question.
Blue Steel or no? That was the look.
Yeah.
Zoolander.
Zoolander. That's it.
Yeah.
Zoolander.
There we
go. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was his was funnier to me. Steve Martin, like regular Steve Martin, is funny. Serious Steve Martin is awesome. But like when he's like acting, quote unquote, I can't help but see him with the arrow through his head on his stand up doing the wow, I'm crazy. Like it's over acting. So I like the Ben Stiller one. All right. This was good. Ben Affleck and J-Lo, the Dunkin' Donuts.
I like that too. Actually, so
that was fun.
That I like that you're refreshing my memory here. Yeah. So that was a good one.
This one, Sarah McLachlan for Bush Light, where she's in he goes, Sarah, that's a tent and that's a wolf.
That's right.
Because you're talking about shelter. He's like, that's not the kind of shelter you're talking about. And that's an actual wolf. And she got all scared. I don't know how old she is, but good for her. Wow.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Jack Harlow, Elton John, Missy Elliott for Doritos.
The triangle.
The triangle, yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure who Jack Harlow is, but it was a fun commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated it. Megan Trainor for Pringles. I don't think I saw that one. It's not giving me a preview for it. So
they all have their hands stuck in the container, so that type of deal. It's kind of a running advertising bit that they have.
Okay.
People stick their
Maybe
hand
that's one I didn't
and they
see.
can't get it out. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, there was some commercials. It was fun. I thought it was better than most years in the past.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, I miss some of the you don't see like the big Budweiser ones. They used to have such good ones with like the Clydesdales and the Bud Bowl and all kinds of different ones, but you just don't see some of those anymore. I don't know.
Now, did you watch the game at a friend's house or at a bar? Like,
I watched it at a friend's house. My buddy's Jim Cunningham, and we've been at his house for several years now.
Okay, so you were able to because if you're at a bar, you can't hear the commercials.
Can definitely hear the commercials. Yeah, it's the whole thing for us. We sit and just pay attention to everything.
Good.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. So now you mentioned some of the movie trailers. sir. So,
we have the Flash movie trailer. Let's just kick it off right off the bat.
I'm getting more excited for this.
Holy shit! If you listen to it, you didn't have to listen too hard. But the moment Michael Keaton turned around and uttered the words, "I'm Batman," universally every nerd on this planet squealed in delight, and I was fucking one of them. Holy shit!
And when he he pulled the cover off the original, not the original, but the '80s Batmobile. Man, that looks great.
I like that Ben Affleck's back in it because we've been over this. I was a fan of Ben Affleck as Batman. I want him to continue as old gruff Batman. I like this. But I like this idea of the multiverse type situation where you can have multiple Batmans. You know what I mean? You could do different stories. Let's do another Michael Keaton Batman.
Put in that Elseworlds thing that they got. So that's like they have that in the comics. That's where they have like the Batman series now, the Joker. They're smart. James Gunn's like, well, it's just the Elseworld stories. That's it. That's all you have to do. You can have those stories that go on. It's like a different part of the DC universe. That's fine. You don't need it. Nothing needs to be tied together. Just put something there. I agree with you. That'd be great.
I thought I would be a little annoyed that Superman wasn't involved in this and that Supergirl was, but then like seeing her in the trailer, I'm like, no, I'm in. She looks badass. Yeah, she looked like she kicks some ass. And to see Michael Shannon back as Zod, holy shit! I didn't know that was coming. And
the one thing I want to say too. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I saw the pictures of it. There was a couple quick glimpses in the trailer. The blue and gray Batman suit. Have you seen that?
How badass did that look? Absolutely. And that's Ben Affleck doing it.
That's great. About time they put that in the movie, It was when the original Batman came, it was such a stark, because in the comics it was the blue and gray, and then on the movie screen it's obviously the pitch black suit with just the yellow. It's like, it was cool and all that, but we haven't seen that suit since
the comic books.
The comic books and Adam West. You haven't seen it since him.
Well, but Adam West was, if you actually looked at it, Adam West is kind of purple.
I guess you're right. What I mean? It looks like the comic book suit. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I actually lost my train. I don't remember what I was about to say.
About the evil Flash.
Yeah. All right.
Ezra Miller. Yeah.
Well, let's go evil actor. Let's talk about that. Elephant in the room, guys. Ezra Miller has been accused of a lot of weird shit, from kidnapping to cult members to punching out people in bars in Hawaii. He's been accused, again, let me reiterate, accused, not convicted, not indicted, accused of a lot of weird stuff. And now we're seeing this, the Batgirl movie. They finished it, edited it, finished everything, and then scrapped it because of whatever reason. Some say it wasn't very good. Some say politics. There's nobody knows exactly. I'm probably leaning on that it wasn't very good, but who knows? So they are willing to scrap something because of one reason or another. There's probably millions of movies throughout time that is done and in a vault. So with Ezra Miller, what he did, I could understand them scrapping a movie. But then you watch that trailer and go, oh, that's why they didn't. Everything else was so good. You're willing to take that slight ding on the record to get this out. And I have a feeling with these different multiverses, they don't call it multiverse, right?
It's the flashpoints. That's kind of what it is. So it's in the comics. So I think it's what they're doing here. Well, they've already showed it in the strategy. So
do they call them multiverses? I just don't know what to call these things. I know they call them something different.
It was. I don't even know what it was.
For the sake of this, I'll call them multiverse, right?
Yeah, so it's DC's version of it for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So with all these multiverses happening, I can see where this movie needs to happen. to explain and to open up different things and explain different things and explain why John Cena why he wouldn't make sense in the Superman movie. You know what I mean? In the Henry Cavill movie. But now, if you explain multiverses, now, okay. He doesn't. If he looked at Henry Cavill, he wouldn't know who that is. He wouldn't see Superman probably because it's a different guy in his universe. Because he was talking about Superman had poop fetish or whatever those jokes are. So I think this movie is important to explain all that and to continue to do the different kinds of movies where you have different. Robert Pattinson as Batman. So in order to have that and still continue with that and continue with other Batman movies, this explains it and will do it well. So
absolutely,
I get why they did it.
I've said this before, but it's in the comics, the whole Flashpoint series they did that they're clearly kind of basing this movie on. So the Flash he ran back in time. He keeps trying to save his mom. So his mom was killed by an unknown force. They showed this on the Flash TV show and the comics and all that. So he tries to go back and save her, and then he screws up the timelines and creates the Flashpoint. Then he learns he was actually killed by his mom was killed by an evil Flash version of himself, which I think they portray in this movie here. But in the actual DC comic books, after the Flashpoint series, they used that as the opportunity that James Gunn seems to be using, maybe just based off maybe just using the same idea. And they kind of reset the DC universe, and everything went back to issue number 1. All the main issues at that time went all the way back to issue number 1, and then they reset everybody. They had sort of younger versions of themselves again a little bit, and they went forward again from there. And then they got, then it branches out from there. So I think he's following the exact same strategy as the comics, it appears.
How cool would it be? All right, I'm gonna fantasy book this. All right.
Okay.
End of the movie. Whatever he does to fix it. Everything goes, and then the flashpoint, down, and it comes down to the black screen and one little white light in the center, right? And then it opens up, and then you start doing flashes of Kal-El being shot off a planet, to Bruce Wayne walking down the alley, and a guy coming up with the gun.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, it shows the beginning of every origin story of and even ones we haven't seen yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it shows every origin story, a quick flash of all of them. And then you see Ezra Miller, his eyes close, opens up, and it's another guy playing Flash because they can't have Ezra Miller going forward.
Love it.
Huh?
Yeah, great idea.
Come on.
Yeah.
You thought I was going to derail that one and run into a tree, huh? Nope. I booked the hell out of that one. But I tell you, if I would have hit a tree, I probably would have called Blake Insurance. Because Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency. You know where it's located, Brian? Right here in Barberton, Ohio.
That's right.
Let me tell you, they provide auto, home. You own a home. You own a car. Renters. If you're a renter, he covers that too. And business insurance. They do it with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance, let me tell you, is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359, or just go ahead and visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com on those interwebs. Again, BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free, everybody loves free, 5-minute quote today. He will tell you what he can do to help you. If he can do it, he will. He's a great guy. Give him a call today and tell him that this universe's convincing idiots sent you.
Very good. Yeah, Aaron has helped several people in several multiverses, I heard, Dean.
He has.
Yeah.
He's helping. There's multiple teams that that just keep that need Aaron Blake's help. He's a superhero. If you ask me, he's a superhero.
Yeah, I agree. Superhero in the community for sure. All right, so what other trailers got you excited? Anything else? I'm with you 100% on the Flash, obviously. So any other ones?
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That one is I think those are the two main, right? I mean, there were some like the Adam Driver one, 65 million years.
Indiana Jones.
65. Yes, I forgot about that. Good call.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's start with the Guardians. It looks sad. I think it's going to be sad. I think one or more Guardians is not going to survive. From my guess or understanding is that this will be the last of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I think you'll see them in the bigger movies, right?
For sure.
You know, the Kang Dynasty and all the, end up big movies. You might see him in fingers crossed, Howard the Duck if it ever gets made. So, but it looks sad. I think it's going to be sad.
Yeah, the scene that keeps showing on is like with Rocket Raccoon, how he was created and stuff. Man, that looks the High Evolutionary. I didn't realize that was going to be the big villain this year. So that was pretty good. Yeah,
you got all those prongs and everything's all strapped to the little baby rock, kind of like what Nick's doing tonight. Never mind. No, let's continue with this. It's awkward.
Yeah, it's going to make me. I see that movie. That makes me good. I'm going to miss the James Gunn era in the Marvel universe. With those movies, he does such a good job with those. But looks like he's going to go out on a high note. It appears
sad note.
Yeah,
but I mean, got to do what you got to do. And who knows? I mean, they're not going to. It's not going to kill off Peter Quill. Like I've seen some people online saying, Peter's going to get killed. You ain't killing him off. And if you weren't going to show Drax carrying his limp body in the trailer, the first trailer. Come on, people.
Right.
It worked.
Right.
Drax is going to die.
I guess Bautista's already said he's retiring from that character. So they recast him or kill him.
Unless he's working us, which he was a professional wrestler, he very well could be working us.
Right.
He used to do that for a living.
Right.
Make people believe the punches are real. So who knows?
Yeah, I think it's good. And then it's Indiana Jones. What do you think about the Indiana Jones trailer?
I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't think that I would. I don't think anybody thought that you need another Indiana Jones, but it looks cool. I mean, for 70 years old, it looks cool. I started doing actually, you tell me what you think.
I thought it looked like a lot of fun. I mean, they're using some of the de-aging technology. Clearly, it's cool to see like new footage of young Harrison Ford in that role. That was pretty cool. So, it already looks more intriguing than the Crystal Skull movie, which was definitely a letdown.
Yeah, shit the bed.
Yeah, I agree with you. So this is the last one with Harrison Ford. It looks like it's going to be a lot better one to end his legacy of that character.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I did some research because I was curious about like the timeline of Indiana Jones. What year is this based on?
I think it's in the 60s, right? Or 70s?
Yeah. 69.
Okay.
So I was looking up. In this universe, he was born in 1899, right?
Okay.
So one other thing I didn't realize that Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. I did not know that.
I didn't catch that for a long time either, and it was. As a matter of fact, when we were doing the sequel and prequel episode that we did, I think something like that.
You probably said that. Okay.
Yeah,
maybe I forgot about that. Well, I did.
No, that's right.
About that.
Didn't realize that either because I thought that he was with Marion and he was with this girl and all that. No, so this is all pre-Marion era and all that.
And he ends up marrying Marion, and what Shia LaBeouf was his kid, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know that they've really talked about how they will position the fact that he has a son, or they just sort of maybe they don't even mention it anymore. It's just gone.
Well, if he's an adult and he didn't know him for the first 19 years of life, it's not that like they will live together. It's not like you have to see the kid. You know what I mean? He could be off in Detroit, anywhere. I'm just
Never
saying
know.
is if you went and had a conversation with my father on a random day, I'm not going to be around. So like, it's not going to be like, wow, I thought you had a son named Dean. He goes, yeah, I do, but why would you see him right now? You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I don't think they need to mention that he has a kid,
Yeah, I'm fine with it too.
especially Shia
move on.
LaBeouf.
Yeah. That was all I can remember being, the Fast and Furious. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. They're still making these. You and I talked about it one day. We saw a trailer for it.
Money.
Yeah, that's it. Just amazing to me. But like I said, as long as people go see it, they're going to keep making them. Why not?
I've never seen one of them.
Me either.
Not one, and I
Nope.
have no intention to.
No.
At this point, you couldn't catch up on them. You know what I mean? Like you could start now. You'd have to start now.
Yes.
This is the 10th one. It's okay.
Yeah, 10.
Again, we can shit on it all we want, but people love it. It makes money, so shit. Why
right.
not?
Sure.
Let the actors go and make all that money, and people enjoy watching them. Who are we to shit on them? I mean, we still can because I'm sure they're awful movies, and Vin Diesel's a shit actor. But go do your thing.
Yeah, we wanted to stop making this podcast after episode 60 tops.
Right.
But they keep re-upping our contract, and
Yeah, I mean, I
here
don't
we
agree
are.
with it. I think they made a huge mistake, but we keep making them money, so what the fuck?
That's right. That's right. All right. Anything else on the Super Bowl, sir? Anything else that caught your attention?
Nope.
Okay.
I think that's about it.
All right.
I think we covered it quite extensively.
Yes, we did. All right. So we're going to take a break here, then, Dean. We're going to come back with some pop culture headlines, and then we talked about seeing trailers. Now we're going to go see a movie soon, and we're going to talk about movies in general. So, the experience of going to the theater is not as common anymore, which is interesting. So that's changing. So we're going to talk about what draws us into the theater in general. So that'll be our Ask an Idiot this week before we get into our main topic later. So we'll be right back after the break. Tune in for this message from Rihanna.
Oh. Namaste. Coming back in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to Convincing Idiots. Dean, what the world needs right now?
Love, sweet love.
That's exactly correct. The world definitely needs love, sweet love. And that song,
That's right.
you know who sang that song?
Well, it wasn't Dionne Warwick, was it?
No. Well, you know what? She might have sang it.
Okay.
But the guy who wrote it also sang it. I think you might be right, actually. But
Okay.
you know who the original singer was by chance? The original guy who wrote it and sang it. It was Burt Bacharach.
Burt Bacharach. Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
He made a cameo, you might recall, in the first Austin Powers movie, singing it in the limo with Austin Powers. Burt Bacharach just passed away, I'm afraid to say, sir, age 94. last Wednesday. We're shooting this on Thursday, February the 16th. So
Really?
not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday prior. So, man, had a lot of hits. So let's see. Dionne Warwick, I Say a Little Prayer, and Do You Know the Way to San Jose? So she did sing some of his songs and had big hits. He was an 8-time Grammy winner.
Jackie DeShannon.
There you go.
Jackie DeShannon was who sang it.
Thank
What
you.
the world needs
Thank you.
now.
Thank you very much. But he also had his own recording of it as well, I believe. But anyhow, he was an 8-time Grammy winner. Prize-winning Broadway composer for Promises, Promises.
On YouTube, I'm looking down here, 1966. There is a version of Dionne Warwick singing it.
Okay, there
All
you
right.
go. So you were correct.
All right. I know I'd heard it.
Well, you sang a few of his songs then. He received 2 Academy Awards in 1970 for the score of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and for the song. Remember the big song in that movie by chance?
I do not.
Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Everybody knows that song, you know? 82, let's see, his then wife, lyricist Carol Bayer Sager, won Oscars for Best That You Could Do, the theme from Arthur. So they wrote that together. Sung by Christopher Cross, you might remember.
Sure.
And other movie soundtracks included Alfie, What's New Pussycat, and a 67 in the James Bond spoof Casino Royale. So quite the extensive career for Mr. Bacharach.
Yeah,
nice
absolutely.
voice, very talented man. So rest in peace. Do you have any thoughts on
Definitely
him, sir? Go ahead.
No, I other than like what you said, his resume speaks for itself. I mean,
yeah,
not just pop culture music, but movies and general music. You know what he's like everything you just read. Dude was a legend. He has his fingerprints in a lot of pop culture, a lot more than hell I even knew. So
sure.
Yeah, rest in peace. I mean, lived a good life, left us with a lot of good music. God bless you, Burt Bacharach. And
Absolutely.
it's a fun name to say. So
It is. It really is.
Burt Bacharach.
Yeah, very good. Okay, I heard about this on a New York Times podcast this week. I looked up some articles on this here. So now we've talked a lot about the chat AI bot. So chat GPT, I think it is.
Yeah, something like that.
So Bing, the browser, lesser known browser Bing, which is the Microsoft browser, right?
Yep.
They have recently unveiled.
That's also the sound that Nick's butt plug is making tonight.
The Bing.
Bing, bing.
That's right. I guess that's not the prototype with his thumb photo on it that we're working on for the.
He was very happy
to
tell you. He's going to very happy to tell you how it goes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, so we're testing that out. Like I said, so the unused Nick plug will be $49.95, and the used one will be $69.95. Yeah, yeah.
You have to pay us. Shit. I hope he's having fun.
That's right. That's right. So it's a new browser launched by Bing. So what they've done apparently is they've sort of combined the chat AI with their browser. So listening to the podcast, and the guy was able to describe it. So basically, it's like you could. So like the chat AI works. If you haven't really tried this yet, I encourage people go check it out, play around with it. But you type in, you ask it a question, right? And what it's doing is pulling information across the internet to give you a response, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of doing some of the searching and research a little bit for you, right? Pros and cons, obviously, to some of that. And chat AI is raising some concerns, and as we've talked about on this show, where some universities are afraid that students are going to use the chat technology to write essays and things like that. So now they have to worry about trying to combat if people are just kind of getting answers from this chat, this and that and the other. But from a browser search perspective, you can ask it questions, and instead of just giving you a page of links to websites and stuff with ads, etc., it's giving you some like a conversation suggestion, and then it gives you links in the answer.
Okay.
Right. So, just the example the guy used on the podcast is basically, he said, I'm thinking of cooking a Valentine's Day dinner for my wife. She likes French onion soup. What are side dishes I might want to serve with the soup? And it gave him a conversation of
how great would be if one of the answers was dick.
No, but it gave him some suggestions, and then he asked for the recipe of a certain type of salad. So he said, give me the recipe how to make this salad, give it with the ingredients in the different aisles of the grocery store, and it kind of spelled everything out for him. In the produce section, this, and this section, that.
That's
and
wild.
It's crazy. And then it downloaded the list for him.
Now, that's only if you ask questions. What if, like, I say, hey, Bing, can you show me pictures of Jenna Ortega? Will it do that for me?
I don't know if I would guess it would give you some links to different things and so forth. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's just sort of taking the browser to another level. I also heard that Google tried to launch something similar recently, but it had some mistakes with some of the demonstrations and answers that it provided. So the guy said that...
I think their browser was just called Uncle Frank, and it was just an old man getting things wrong, talking about conspiracy theories.
They asked it a question in the demonstration about the James Webb Telescope, and it said something along the lines of that it took the first pictures of a planet outside of our solar system, and that's not the right answer.
James Webb Telescope, let me tell you, it was friends with a pig, and that pig, it was his best friend.
I think that's Charlotte's Web, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh no, I've said too much.
Yeah.
This is the Uncle Frank that doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, that's it's a lesser known version of the
right.
Yeah, AI chat. But anyway, so the Google one gave a wrong answer. They took a big hit in their advertising and all that. But apparently, if you're able to get, again, per the resources on the podcast here, it was like if you can get like 1% of the advertising revenue from Google, it's like it's like $1 billion. It's astronomical numbers. So if you could cut into their stranglehold on browsing, and you could work in ads into this, and it's a whole other thing. So now they're saying with the chat AI, you can monetize it by, the responses could sort of try to push you towards certain sites or products, or can have certainly an ad within the browser and all that type of stuff. So,
all right. So, what I need what we need listeners to do right now. Mm-hmm. Let's actually take a pause here real quick. We need all of our listeners, all 10 of you. What we need you to do is get onto this and start asking about Convincing Idiots.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's start easy. Go once an hour, and then then you can spread it out. But we need you on a constant basis to ask this thing about Convincing Idiots. It's like an algorithm. So that's I'm assuming by the time, once you've asked like probably, 78 times in one day, and you do that for a whole year, I think that might get us somewhere. So
all we're asking for is a measly 1% of Google's advertising. I mean, is that
too hard to ask?
No.
Is it
really?
Mm-mm.
You know what? We'll take a 0.5%. 0.5% would be fine.
Sure.
We're not greedy.
I'd take all of our listeners sending me a nickel.
Yeah, sure. There you have it. So just in general, that's what they're working on. So do you like the idea? I'm curious if you like the idea, instead of just pulling up a browser and you search something and you get a whole list of pages, and obviously, people are paying to have their link at the top, or they can pay, and you got ads and so forth. But do you like the idea of asking a chat a question, and you might get a sufficient answer just from the chat? And that's it. You don't need to look at any other sites or anything like that. Or, no, you don't trust the chat, or what do you think about it?
I don't care about that. I trust it. I mean, it's information out there. A lot of the times when I search something, it will I'll ask a question, in Google or whatever. I just put it in the browser. So whatever comes up from that, which is normally Google, and it gives me the first paragraph of the most popular website. So I don't have to click on the link. I don't have to click in a website. It'll give me the answer in a top paragraph, and that's probably normally right under it is where it's from, that site. So as long as give me less clicks, give me the answer I need with the least amount of work I can do, and I'm happy.
Yeah, I like it too. I think it's fine. It's interesting. Yeah, and it does cite I think it does cite the resources that it's pulling information from, so you can see. Perfect. And it's not just pulling stuff. I think so. I guess something like that. So it's out there now. You could launch it right now and try it. So it's the Bing browser, and it's there. I haven't tried it yet, but maybe it's something we goof around with over the next couple of weeks and come back and report back on, or something like that. So just interesting stuff. Why not?
I like it.
Okay, very good. Some of the pop culture. So we talked a lot of pop culture stuff with the Super Bowl trailers and commercials and stuff like that here. So why don't we get into our Ask an Idiot question this week, sir? Did you have anything else pop culture wise? Anything else? No, that's fine. Okay. So we mentioned movie theater. So going to the movies is not as common these days. Obviously, there's a lot more options for people out there. Certainly there's tons of streaming content. You are now able to rent a newer movie at home with this premium streaming or early preview. Some call it different things. So you can watch many movies that are in the theater for $20 at home. So certainly if you have a couple of friends over, or just going to the movies, you're going to spend at least that, probably just on concessions, let alone the tickets. Sure. Typically a $40 at least night with you and a date, just going to most theaters, non-matinee. Go ahead. Let
me explain to you something real quick, Brian.
Sure.
I like the idea of, I don't like other human beings. They're not for me. I've met a lot of them. Not a fan. And as far as going to the movies, I love going to the theater. So I'm torn between the two. So COVID was a horrible thing. We lost a lot of people. That sucks. But what good thing did come out of it was not many people were going to the movies. And I could go, and it would be not as many people.
True.
And I would walk in and start coughing. And I would have, I didn't do the concession stands because I'm cheap, and I just put my mom's ham gravy in each pocket, in little baggies. So I had my ham gravy in my pockets, and I walked in, and you start coughing, and people get up and leave real quick. So I had the whole theater to myself.
Right.
It was fantastic. So, a little life hack, some little ham gravy in the pocket, and a little cough there.
There you go. Yeah, get you some private screenings, perhaps.
That's right.
Yeah.
Last time I had a private screening like that, it was a little booth in the back of the Rubber Dick store. That's another story for another time.
But movies, they're trying different things. There's even theaters in this area, Northeast Ohio, that it's like a bistro. I've not tried this experience, but they have something like a bistro. You go in, you sit, and you eat. I don't know. Some theaters have the cushiony recliner type seats, like
We did
Tinseltown and all that. We did that for a movie last year with us and Nick's mom. Great time. The Foo Fighters movie. That was a great time.
I cut the hole in the bottom of the popcorn bucket. Yeah,
That's right.
What a good time. Good time.
A lot of fun. But yeah, so some theaters do that. We get a personal.
Turns out Nick's mom didn't want popcorn. Only Brian did. And he goes in head first into the popcorn bucket. Who knew?
Crazy night.
Still a good
crazy night. Absolutely. Yeah, so fancy seats, different types of attractions, different types of foods, all these things that try to draw people out. And on the flip side, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but AMC is going to start experimenting with different ticket prices for depending on where you sit. So it's like a concert. So they're trying to say that premium eye level seating in a movie theater, certain seats you should have to pay more to see it, whereas if you sit up front or a seat that's not as optimal, you could pay less. So that's fine. If it's fine if you're going to a movie or it's maybe going to be sold out or something like that.
All right, everybody.
All right, so you have both sides of it.
Me sitting here as the head of AMC, let me tell you, this isn't good. We're losing price. We're losing ticket sales. We need to get something to get people to come back into the theater. You know what? I got it. Let's make it more miserable for people to go and give them a reason not to go to see the theater by charging more money for a seat you sat in last week at a regular price. Brilliant. AMC, give me all the dividends. Come on, stock buybacks. Let's do it. I'm a fucking genius.
Baffling. And what's to stop people from buying a cheaper seat for a showing and moving their seat? You know what I mean? Which is exactly what some people's going to do.
Right. Because the theaters aren't exactly full. So when you go in, you know what? Actually, the fullest theater I've been in most recently was we were at one of the Fathom events.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to see It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
That was a full theater. That was the last time I went to a full fucking theater. Yeah. Everything else, like the new movies coming out. There's been a couple that, had a good, amount of people in it, but that thing was fucking full.
Right.
So how are you going to make it harder or make it more just hassle? It's a hassle to do something like that. It doesn't make sense. There's a reason. When's the last time you saw an AMC theater? Where's the closest one? Yeah, a lot of them closed down, and the rest will too. So,
yep. Yeah, around Northeast, the closest one to our area is 40 minutes north.
Yeah,
something
Canton?
like that. I think it's maybe. I know it's up toward Cleveland. Anyways, it's not close. Yeah. There's not many around anymore.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you and I go to a local private theater in downtown Barberton, Ohio. You can buy a ticket.
The booth we were talking about? No, you're talking about the movie theater. All right,
the movie theater. That's right. You buy a movie, a new release ticket, $8, right? And concession stands are cheaper, so it's not there's not a Regal. I mean, we're not sitting in a cushy recliner, but it's a nice, clean theater, neighborhood theater. It's not packed. Nope. It's typically an enjoyable experience, So
absolutely.
I don't know.
We'll be going there tomorrow night for Ant-Man and the Quantumania. That's right.
We'll talk about that our next Idiot review. So, well, clearly we both agree with AMC. It's a ridiculous strategy. It doesn't make any sense.
But
I understand a guy in the boardroom thinking that way. Certainly. Go ahead.
Brian,
what did you say?
What brings you to the theater, though? We know what would shun us away, but honestly, why do you keep going?
I keep going. I still like the overall theater experience. That's just me. I like but for me, obviously I'm older. I grew up with that. I did not have the options as a kid to stream movies or anything like that. I had to wait around in my generation to where if you wanted to watch a movie at home as a kid, you had to hope it came on cable on your movie channel or Star Channel or something like that, HBO and stuff. And then obviously when the video rentals were introduced, that was an opportunity to see some movies.
Well, wasn't that you
at that point.
when Dino stuck his head up out of the thing and they put you on his head to watch?
Yeah, that was fun at the drive-in.
Yeah.
Yep, that was a good time. Saw The Monster, if I recall correctly, at the drive-in.
There
back
you go.
then. Yeah, watched the beginning of the Flintstones. You know that I'm correct. Actually, that was what.
Right.
Anyhow, yep. No, but it's I didn't have all those options here. So, but I always enjoyed the experience of going to the theater, the big screen, the popcorn.
It's the smells. Like, take away even just the popcorn. Like, the theater itself has a certain smell to it, especially like the old theater that we go to. Just has it. Some of the sides, like the curtains, are kind of original.
Mm-hmm.
There's that certain smell to it, and then you add the popcorn in, and the anticipation. Then you get the trivia questions or whatever.
Yeah, the trailers,
it's
the whole thing.
Experience.
Yes,
that's why I go.
That's what I like. These days I don't go as often. Like if it's a not a huge blockbuster, I'm on the fence. I can wait around until it comes on streaming, which will be sooner than later these days, certainly. But I don't know. Is there something that would bring you out to a movie that you don't care as much about, other than the general experience? Is there anything that these theaters are trying to do? Go ahead.
Yes, a 11-year-old who wants to watch a shitty cartoon movie. That's what brings me out to a theater, to a movie I normally would not go see. But you know what? Even with those, I enjoy the experience. It's the time that I get to spend with him. It's the he'll be able to look back on that and see and enjoy the time that we had doing that, just him and I. Or or a lot of times there's just a bunch of a group of us, like it's going to be tomorrow. And now he's getting old enough to where all of us he can go with us guys to these movies. Before it was us guys, and then the next day we'd take the kids. Now he's old enough to where he's now included as one of the guys, and I enjoy that. But yeah, I enjoy the whole experience. There's nothing they could do that would they don't need to draw me in. I'm not the person. I'm not the demographic they're looking for to get to come back in theater. You've already sold me. I didn't leave.
Right.
As soon as you opened up, I put a mask on and went in. There wasn't nothing stopping me before. There's nothing stopping me now. I've always loved it, and I always will.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in the same camp. And like I said, the same thing with my daughter. I mean, my parents took me to a lot of movies in the theater back in my time. I always enjoyed that with my parents. It was always such a big deal as a kid. Maybe that's where it started. It was such a big event as a child. Really?
Well, there was 4 of us, 4 plus. Well, you know what I mean? Okay. So I do remember one of the time that as a family we were on vacation, and we did see in South Carolina because it was so hot, and Dad's like, let's just go to the movies. And he paid an exorbitant amount of money to get us all in, and that's where I saw Jurassic Park.
Very cool.
And again, that's that with the theater, the experience of the theater with the giant dinosaurs and the surround sound. Yeah, you can't beat it. There was no other way to see that movie for the first time, especially back then.
Agree. Yeah, it was something my parents did. I like you. I took my daughter to see movies. That was a special time of her and I together all those years. Yeah. So I don't know. So, yeah, but yeah, a bistro table, other types of food. Like you said, it's not going to bring me out. Right. So I don't know. Okay. What's the last non-blockbuster you saw in the theater? Just curious. Do you remember?
Oh boy.
Like non-superhero, non-summer blockbuster type movie.
Elvis?
Is that a
blockbuster?
I consider that kind of a bigger movie, but yeah, okay. But it is the last non-superhero, huge action movie. I'm probably with you. It's probably the last.
Yeah, because other than that, it would have been a kids' movie.
Yeah.
Like I remember we went to see that Encanto movie, the Pixar. There was like a bunch of singing and stuff, and we walked out, and those kids were just smiling ear to ear, and I'm like, wow, a lot of these kids. I hope natural selection handles this later, because fuck, that was a shit movie. Like, how are these kids walking out like fucking enjoying this? I'm like, it was awful. It was just horse shit. But again, I guess it wasn't meant for me. But then again, some of the adults, Nick liked it. I'm like, how many paint chips do you have to consume to enjoy horse shit like this? And again, enough to chase it with a ball gag. So
maybe that's it. Maybe some people, if you offered that, might get them out to the theater. So you do a movie and a glory hole. That's not a bad gimmick. I think I might go to that. Well, hold on. Yeah. What side of the glory hole do I get to be on? Anyways, we can pick. All right, let's do it. Now, is there a different tier for that? On which side do I have to pay more money? Like if AMC taking care of this? Right. Yeah. You get to take this seat, but you're on this side of the wall.
Right.
For this much money, and you take this other seat, but you're on the other side of the wall. Yeah.
Now the question, AMC, is what side am I going to pay more for?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Keep listening. You might figure it out. I don't know. So for listeners out there, viewers, we're interested. So for us, we grew up with it. We like it. It's something we just like the experience. We're going to go regardless. We don't need any type of gimmicky things. Just give us a decent movie. We're going to go pay and sit in the theater because we like the entire experience. So, if there's anything out there that particularly brings you to the movies, maybe you hadn't been to a theater in a while, that brought you back, besides the movie itself, and obviously that's
sure.
That's probably almost number one. Maybe it's just put some good movies out there. Put some movies out there that are worthy for people to spend the extra time and money to go to a theater and experience all that. Don't kill us on the concessions, right? And people's going to come back out there. Keep it clean, all the basic stuff for the most part. But if there's something unique that draws you in,
clean. I mean, you know how many the floors you walk in, they're all sticky and stuff,
right?
Hold on, that was the booth from the Rubber Dick.
Keep messy. Keep cross.
I mix my stories up. I'm old, Brian. What do you want from me? I'm 42 years old.
That's right. Yep. All right. So if something brings you to the theater, we want to hear it.
Yep.
What gets you down there? So, all right. So we're gonna take a break here. Everybody, come back with our
main event.
That's right. Main event this evening. This was also your idea. So what are we going to be talking about in our main segment, sir?
Oh, we're going to talk about how Brian and I like to cross-dress and touch each other. Oh, no. I got my notes mixed up. Nope. We are going to do our Mount Rushmore-esque. I got a lot of these Mount Rushmore-esque of TV characters. Iconic to you, mind you, because this is your list. What TV characters are iconic to you?
That's right.
We will get that right after the break.
What's the hottest 16-bit video game system with true arcade games, great graphics, real challenge, stereo sound, and the hottest library too, with games like Altered Beast, Golden Axe, Super Hang-On, Forgotten Worlds, Space Harrier 2, Revenge of Shinobi, Tommy Lasorda Baseball, Buxton, Last Battle, Arnold Palmer Tournament Golf, Super Thunderblade, Zoom, Thunder Force 2, Ghouls and Ghosts, Mystic Defender, Rambo 3, and more. Genesis from Sega. Genesis, the new generation in video games.
Hey, welcome back to the last and main event segment of Convincing Idiots on the Convincing Idiots podcast. Now, thank you for joining us back. Hope you enjoyed the break. Hope you, like Nick, got your bondage thing in. whatever sort of thing you needed to do in a back booth at a rubber dick store. I hope you got it in. I hope everything went well. So, so we are back, and we are at our main event. We are at our main topic, which is our Mount Rushmore of TV characters.
Yes.
Did they make an impact on you? Who made good or bad? It could have been a bad guy. Could have been a good guy. Could be a side character. You know what I mean? It could be Ralph fucking Wiggum. Who knows? But you know who does know? These two idiots, and we're going to find out right now. Brian, welcome back from the break. I hope you enjoyed your break. I hope
did.
You're refreshed. Good.
Yeah, my shoe. I lost the shoe. It stuck to the floor where I was at, but I'll get that later.
That'll do it every time. Watch other buddy booths too. So let me tell you, these Mount Rushmores of TV characters. You and I are, old school nerds. We grew up. We didn't grow up on YouTube and TikTok, and we didn't have viral things. You had to be sitting down in front of your television on a Wednesday night to watch Mary Tyler Moore. You had to be there on a Saturday night to watch Saturday Night Live, or to me, once a month, Saturday night's main event.
Right.
So, Brian, what characters did it for you? What characters, really hit home, or really, just kind of made an impact on your TV viewership, and in turn, I don't want to go as far as your life, but maybe as far as your life. Who knows?
Sure. All right, so are we gonna do one at a time? Is that what we want to do?
Yeah, we can do one at a time. We can bounce them back and forth.
Yeah. So reflecting back in that era that you mentioned, so this is So watching television was certainly more of an event, like you say. With and those were fond memories for me as a kid. You had to gather around. It was like a movie, right? Yep. The show starts at 8, and by 8:00, you better have your popcorn, your snacks, whatever it was. It was always a big deal in my family. Pop the popcorn. Dad would just butter pop. It was just a huge thing. I loved those times with my folks here. And one of the shows.
See, even my parents even actually, they were so considerate. They even stopped beating me with a shoe by 8:00. It was very nice.
That's nice. That's very kind, very generous. You sit down and watch it. So this was a show I know you watched in your household, MASH. So one of my favorite shows as a kid growing up here, watch that. So I have the great Hawkeye Pierce on my list.
He's on mine.
Played by Alan Alda. It's hard. He was so good in this role. I mean, he was such a great actor. He had just a very good blend of seriousness and ridiculousness, which, you definitely portrayed a guy that was living through hell. He tried to keep his sense of humor. It was very challenging. So he kind of, balanced it with drinking and womanizing and just, having fun and goofing around and all that. So just a very interesting character, tragic in many respects, but also very funny. So Alan Alda, I mean, that is him. That is his role, and that's it. So he definitely is on my personal idiot Mount Rushmore of television characters.
He was like a living, breathing, physical cartoon character. Like he was like the embodiment of Bugs Bunny. His presentation, the way he spoke, the jokes. To me, there was honestly at that time as a child, there was nobody cooler because I found comedy funny. I didn't see James Dean and go, "Wow, that's a cool guy." No, I saw Alan Alda as portrayal of Dr. Benjamin Franklin Pierce and thought that's the coolest fucking guy in the world.
That's right.
That he can be through all this blood and horror and shit, and still make jokes and keep comedy alive and only to keep themselves alive, to keep their sanity. And it's just, I know I get the writing is a huge part of it, but like his portrayal as Hawkeye, that is my childhood.
Yes.
Okay, I know I just piggybacked on you and stole one, but we had the same one. All right, so
he's
I
on your
wanted
list
to
as well. Very
he
good.
is. So I wanted to touch on him. Wow. Again, I have a few, so I have 10. I'll be honest with you. So
That's fine.
I might have 2 Mount Rushmore. So this is in no particular order.
Sure.
I'm going to go with, you know what? Actually, I'm going to go with the gentleman who actually made me think of doing this topic. Because lately I've been watching a lot of Andy Griffith's show. So Andy Taylor from the Andy Griffith Show, portrayed by Andy Griffith, is my on my list.
Okay.
Because Andy Griffith, it still holds up. I don't know how long it's been since you've seen it, but the wholesomeness of his character, plus the wisdom, like the old kind of country wisdom, like he easily could have taken, like the original character he was doing on a different sketch comedy show. He started this Andy Taylor persona, and it was more of a country bumpkin, like kind of a dope, and like the way it presented on the show. I mean, there's just really intelligence and wisdom behind, that Southern accent. But it was like, again, it was so wholesome. The betrayal of who didn't want a father like that? Who didn't want a best friend like that? And let's face it, in that show, he pulled in some tail. He wasn't a bad-looking dude. And
no,
Miss Crump, let's do it. Ellie,
sure,
let's do it. And yeah, I mean, Barney was the funny one, but Andy sure had his fucking jokes. Like, as a kid, I remember Barney being like the funny one, and Andy was a straight one. Watching it now as an adult, no, Andy, it was just a different kind of jokes. So to me, Andy Taylor is my first on my Mount Rushmore.
Very good. Yeah, I used to watch that show growing up with reruns with my mom. That was on like local network, Channel 43 out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Yep.
Used to watch that show all the time with mom. Yeah, it's easy to get sucked into that world. Show was so pleasant. Like for 30 minutes or an hour, or whatever it was, you were living in Mayberry and you fantasize about how nice it would be to live in a town like that with a sheriff like that never had a gun, right?
And let me tell you something, Brian, real quick. Go ahead and catch it now, only because catch it in H or fourth, HD or whatever you have, 4K or whatever, because they cleaned it up and it's crisp.
Okay.
Because yes, I remember watching Channel 43 and it's a little grainy, and like this, you can see so much detail. They've cleaned it up so nice. Like it's really a pleasure to watch now. So try to catch it now.
I will. I'll go back and look at it. Okay. One of my favorite characters from the show Parks and Rec. We mentioned his name earlier from an episode of The Last of Us. The great Nick Offerman playing Ron Swanson. So
he's on my list.
Yeah, just
one of the most quotable characters ever.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. I caught a TikTok of. I think I shared it with you. But it was a TikTok video. He's getting a physical exam. Just the answers.
Yes,
are just so funny. It's like
bring me all the meat. And when I say all the meat, I don't want you to think that I just want to bring him a lot of meat. No, I mean all the bacon you have.
All the bacon. That's right.
Like the voice. And have you ever seen Nick Offerman stand up? He doesn't.
I have not.
He doesn't do a stand up per se, but it's a one man show. You can find it on Netflix. And he's very similar, other than the giggle that he has, and it's a real fun giggle, it's a real high-pitched giggle in real life. Other than that, he's very close. He does woodworking. A lot of Ron Swanson's interests he has, but he's not as gruff.
Right.
But yeah, if you get a chance, you should really watch that Nick Offerman special.
he's the type of guy. It's like you fantasize that you could be that manly. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? That's because
And he's pulling in Megan Mullally.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
hey,
Yes.
good for
absolutely.
him.
Yeah, so if for some reason you never saw Parks and Rec, you never saw Ron, just look up Ron Swanson clip and just have fun with that. So
Enjoy it.
yeah, absolutely. So Ron Swanson.
Mm-hmm. Okay. See, now we're getting tough here because I gotta beat Ron Swanson here, and I'm gonna try to do that. You know what? Let's do it because it's right here. I'm sporting it today. Believe T-shirt. I'm going to go with Ted Lasso, portrayed by Andy Sudeikis.
Mm-hmm.
And
Jason Sudeikis, right?
Jason, Jesus, yeah, Andy Sorkin. I got those two, the two names mixed up. I want to see Jason Sudeikis as Snoke, actually, and see how that goes. Bring him to me. No, but Jason Sudeikis as Ted Lasso. It is on Apple Plus TV. Again, I've said it earlier in this episode. It is my favorite show on television today. We're going to the last season 3. The cast is amazing. You are going to find the breakout star is going to be Brett Goldstein, who is going to be Hercules going forward in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
But Jason Sudeikis as Ted Lasso is heartwarming. He's touching, but then there is he does this whole wholesome country Midwest thing that he does, portrays. But the character also is flawed. You find out, like, he has panic attacks, and some of those scenes of him having a panic attack, for anybody like myself who has panic attacks and real life struggles with that hits home. Like, he does it well. Like, you watch it and you almost start to like flutter there because like you feel that panic attack. Like, you've sat there on the side of that road crying. You know what I mean? Like, he's so good at it. So yeah, Ted Lasso, I can't recommend that enough, people. Come on. Believe with me.
Very good. Very good. Well, you cited the one off your shirt. I will cite one off of my shirt here. So I'm wearing a retro.
Who you going with?
Yeah, there's there's different choices here, but I'm wearing a Seinfeld retro shirt here with the old show logo. And there's definitely good options here. I think I'm going though with George Costanza.
Thank you.
Played by the great Jason Alexander. Just so funny. It's like everybody, I should say everybody, most people, I should say, have some side of George Costanza within their. You can relate to George Costanza. Probably of all the characters on that show, I would venture to guess most people can relate somewhat to George Costanza, where he has, just the stuff that happens to him in his career, his struggles with dating, his temper, his frustration with people around him, that type of thing.
But you know why? What it really comes down to?
What is it?
Jason Alexander is an actor. Like,
oh my God.
out of all of, like, Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld was a stand-up comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Kramer was, he did stand-up and sketch comedy, and he was in like UHF, and like he was these really absurd, over-the characters. Elaine, yeah, she was but she was also on Saturday Night Live, so she was a sketch comedy and trained in that. Jason Alexander was like a fucking actor, like, you know what I mean? Like, so he could take this loser and make him the lovable loser. He tells this story that people would come up to him and say, "Oh my God, my friends tell me that I'm just like George," and he's like, "Whoa, hold on, that's not a good thing. Don't go bragging about that. George is a loser." But like, that's the thing, is like he made him so like down to earth and real that people, like you said, everybody has a little George in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the best
Just
episodes
like Nick has a
were.
little ball gag in his mouth and a butt plug.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, some of the best episodes ever were where they featured George. I mean, there's so many of them. Festivus, The Opposite. The Opposite might be, it's definitely my top 5 Seinfeld episodes of all time, where George decides that, they tell him that his instincts are completely wrong. He has to do the opposite of what he's thinking.
Yes.
He experiments with that, and everything. He just has everything goes so well for him. Keeps calm and this.
Right.
God, there's so much, and when he loses his temper, it's just. If you know what I mean, you could go talk about it for hours with
the episode where he
Seinfeld,
stopped having sex, like where he stopped worrying about sex, and he was able to like teach Danny Tartable how to hit a home run. Just so stupid. Like, God, it was so good
because his brain was not.
He didn't have to think about worry about trying to look to have sex, so he could think of like he was end up being like a fucking genius.
Right. Yep. Oh my God, so good. Anyway. George Costanza.
All right. So my next one, I'm going to go with, and I'm going to bring our first lady onto the list here.
Okay.
And do you have any females on your list?
I do for honorable mention.
Okay, and it's probably the same one. The GOAT. If you're talking about females on TV, we're going to go Lucy Ricardo.
Okay,
played by Lucille Ball.
That's a good
the
one.
Original, the best.
Yeah.
She brought a spotlight on women that you didn't see at that time. She was the pioneer. And we don't even have to. Actually, this doesn't even give us a chance to talk about like her outside contributions of running a goddamn studio.
Right.
As a woman, she is what saved fucking Star Trek. All you nerds out there, she is the grandmother of sci-fi. Look it up.
Yeah.
But as a character, she was the comedic lead. She was silly. She was goofy, but she wasn't the idiot. Yeah, she was goofy, but she wasn't dumb. Lucille Ball, Lucy Ricardo, the character, was a brilliant, comedic, masterfully played character.
Yep.
And definitely worthy of being on this anybody's Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely. Oh, very good. Excellent. Okay, I've got so many to choose from.
Just random.
No, show
we
I grew.
We don't have to stick to 5. Let's just keep going.
No. Okay, I'll do my 5 here. So, my 4th of 5 on my list here. Before getting to honorable mentions and all that, show I watched, start to finish for many years. One of my favorite characters ever. The great Sam Malone from Cheers, Ted Danson. So
nice.
Just such a, obviously he was a womanizer, but he was a goofy and it was a character that was interesting, that he had a good evolution, I think, throughout the series as well. When they first started out, he was, really womanizing and all that. Then he kind of met his match with Shelley Long and Kirstie Alley's characters, Diane and I don't know Kirstie Alley's Rebecca, that's right, respectively, who thought he was an idiot and kind of put him in his place several times. He had to learn, and anyway, I love that character. So funny, So
as a child, I looked at Alan Alda as Hawkeye and thought that is the epitome of cool. Then you grow a little, you get a little older. Then you see Sam Malone with the hair and the womanizing. But you know what? That wasn't what I thought was cool. Yes, it was cool that, he was getting laid all the time. What I found when I saw Sam Malone and thought cool was like the nonchalantness of his jokes. The nonchalantness of he didn't have to look up. Like if you watched it, and I've been actually rewatching it. You barely saw his eyes in some of these jokes. Like he was reading or looking down. He was so cool with his deliveries. He was the next evolution of cool for me as a kid.
Yeah, he was a guy that you wanted to hang out with in the bar. Yeah, he was a guy that's like you picture that. In some respects, when you're younger, that was what it would be like to be a cool man.
Yes. Yep.
Until you learned a little bit more. It's like, there's more to being a man than that. He would have been a very
and then
lonely
you moved to Ron
man.
Swanson.
He might be the ultimate.
No, that's it.
He might be the ultimate man, is Ron Swanson. Yeah, but yeah. So it's just your perceptions of what being an adult changes over time, and Sam Malone was definitely part of that. So yeah, very very good. Ted Danson was terrific in that role. Yep.
All right, so we've gone through what we wish we were, what we could be, what we want to be as in all of the characters so far. But
it's interesting, you're right. But when you say it that way.
But with the evolution, we end up what we are. And my next character is what ultimately, gentlemen, we are. My next is voiced by Dan Castanella. He is Homer J. Simpson.
That's right. Yep.
Simpson, Homer Simpson. He's the greatest guy in history. From the town of Springfield, he's about to hit a chestnut tree. Ah! Homer Simpson. One-liners, monologues. You get very small glimpses of humanity, but all in all, he was just a big, dumb, fun buffoon.
Right.
Showing us all our foibles of like our inner stupid guy.
Yes. You're right.
So that's what he is.
You're right.
That's why we love him. Homer Simpson is the next on my list.
That's right. And he was mine too, Dean. That was my last guy on my list as well, Homer Simpson. We had a few overlaps, which I expected.
Yeah, we had quite a few. So now we can go into honorable mentions or runoffs or whatever we want to call them.
Yep.
What do you got next?
I have another one. Another one growing up with. Now this is probably actually you mentioned people that when you're younger, how the male characters on television were very impressionable, how you thought, Jesus. Mm-hmm. The first character that I thought as a kid was the coolest television character at the time, certainly, and still one of the coolest to this day, the great Arthur Fonzarelli.
Ah, of course.
Henry Winkler playing the Fonz in Happy Days. Man, just no one was cooler than the Fonz on television for me as a kid growing up in the 70s. It's just such a great character. I loved the show Happy Days, and the Fonz was always the absolute best. And it's kind of funny because Henry Winkler is such a sweet man and
beautifully sweet guy.
But it just not the character at all. But he played that. He just embodied the Fonz so well, so good. So, that character had the tough side, the cool side, but yet he was always super respectful to the Mr. and Mrs. Cunningham and just everything about him was just. I don't know what to say. Just
I don't care how old you are, what year you saw it, sometime or another. We all walked by that jukebox, not even making a joke. We've all hit it on the fucking side in hopes that it might turn on.
That's right.
Who wouldn't want to click their fingers and have two girls out of just random nowhere jump on your arms?
That's right.
He was the epitome of cool.
That's right. There you go.
With saying that, I'm going to move to my next one because I have a question for TV viewers out there through time. Mm-hmm. You have Arthur Fonzarelli. How did Arthur Fonzarelli and my next guy on here, my next character, not ultimately just be riddled with STDs. Jesus. Dan Fielding from Night Court, portrayed by the lovely John Larroquette, who is returning, for the role in the reboot, the sequel. But John Larroquette, even from the 80s to today, and I'm including today's Night Court in this because, like, he does it. You haven't seen it yet, but like he does it so well now. It's like he's not the womanizer. He's like in his 70s. You know what I mean? So like, there's no like. Yeah, I guess in TV there has been 70-year-old horn dogs, but like he, after the show went off the air, quote unquote, he met his love of his life and actually got married, spent his life with her. She ended up dying, and now he's like the widowed. You know what I mean? So like, he says, yeah, back in the 80s, I did my thing. So like they cover all that, but like the evolution of that, but like even in the 80s, there was nobody funnier. Like the jokes that he had, I mean, they gave him the gold. That's why he won all the Emmys that he did. He was the the keeper of the trophies for that show. Deservedly so. I apologize. But yeah, John Larroquette as Dan Fielding is high on my list, ladies and gentlemen.
Very good. Excellent. Great choice. I have another one from Seinfeld. Kramer. Michael Richards. Just as all the funny moments that George Costanza brought, the show would not be the show without Kramer. Michael Richards was just, okay, he had some problems in his, comedic afterwards, and okay, I get it, but during that show run, he was some of the best physical comedy performances on television.
The pratfalls
are arguably of all time. Just so much. The falls.
And even the one-liners, like he's really good for those too in that show.
Yeah. The facial expressions, the reactions, so much on that show. Just you could name a 1,000 moments of Kramer and Kramerisms. Him going to work. What's in the briefcase?
I don't even work here.
Crackers. Just time. It's so many good moments here for him.
So let me
playing Dr. Professor Nas von Nostrum, whatever, with the pipe, trying to be serious.
When he's trying to put the soda or the things that they put in jackets, like trying to take them out. But like the funniest goddamn thing was his reaction when Crazy Joe Davola came up to him and he's like, "Are you afraid of clowns?" Yeah, just like the simple fucking and how he did it is just brilliant,
Yeah, so good. So good. So Kramer, my favorite
for example,
of all time.
There is a restaurant in Canton, Ohio, called Cosmos, and it's not random. It is the emblem is a cartoon version of Kramer. There's pictures of Seinfeld all over the walls. It is called Cosmos. It is in Canton.
Did not know that. I have to check that out.
I deal with them through work. That's what I'll say.
Okay. We'll have to make a trip.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. There you go. Kramer.
My next one, since we're going favorites, Dr. Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap. I'm adding him because it was my favorite show ever.
Sure. And
Scott Bakula is so good. He's so talented with the singing and the dancing and the acting. Sam Beckett was who you want to time travel. He was the good boy. There was no. It was very rarely he's going to do something selfish. You know what I mean? That's why you have him leaping through time, fixing so many people's lives. It's again, I'm adding because I love him so much, and he was a Boy Scout. You know what I mean? He was a Boy Scout doing the Lord's work. And along with this hologram Al, it was a great show, and so Sam Beckett is the next on my list.
Of course. There you go. All right, I've got next one here. Jack Donaghy from 30 Rock, played by Alec
Beautiful.
Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
That's another show. I need to go back. It's like Parks and Rec. I feel like I need to go back and rewatch 30 Rock. There's a lot of characters on this show. You can also add Tracy Morgan to your list, really.
Jack McBrayer.
What's that?
Jack McBrayer. The Page.
Yes.
Kenneth.
So many good characters. Tina Fey was terrific on the show as well. Fab. But Alec Baldwin, it was always my favorite.
It'd be harder to name a bad one. Like, think about it. Like, all of them.
Right.
It was just studded with beautifully written characters.
Yeah, really was.
He was the best.
He was the best. He was playing. It was almost like he was playing himself. It was like Alec Baldwin. He was such a good straight. Right, such a good straight man, and his lines, he just flawless. So serious, and just like he could cut you down. And
Nick can't play a straight man. That's
what's that?
Here. I heard Nick can't play a straight man.
No, he's tried for years.
Yeah,
he's tried for years. So he said something like he was. Matter of fact, then he said he was hanging out with his beard tonight or something like that. I wouldn't think he grew a beard though.
No, there was actually I don't want to get off topic, but like last time I talked to him, and when he told us that he wasn't going to be able to do the show, he was talking about that he likes to something about like riding bicycle seats with like something sticking out top, so when he sits on them, and unfortunately he's not going to be that's going to be a regular bike. It's definitely not going to be an electric bike. If you want an electric bike with no protruding things, you want just a good, durable, soft seat on a confirmed, reliable electric bike, you're going to go to RPM Bike Shop. Jesus, name of glasses. I didn't expect to do two reads here. RPM Bike Shop, Carrollton, Ohio. As, of course, every listener knows, Nick talks about them every week. RPM Bike Shop. You can find them on Facebook under the same name, RPM Bike Shop. Or you can give them a call at 330-808-7792. Go in, test ride it. Trust me. You test ride it, you're test riding at home. Trust me. You're not going to be disappointed. It's going to get you where you need to be reliably and affordably. Especially compared to the other bike shops that are doing electric bikes out there. I've been doing the research, and you can't beat it. They not only have the best deals, but the best staff. It's all around the best package. So please go see RPM Bike Shop. Check them out on Facebook. It's free to watch, or it's free to look.
That's right.
Free to watch is something in a back booth from earlier in the episode. But anyways. RPM Bike Shop, ladies and gentlemen. Carrollton, Ohio.
Very good.
Go check them out.
Excellent. What is next on your list, sir?
Next on my list, I got sidetracked, didn't I? Right. Next on my list is, let's go old school. Let's go the original controversial character of Archie Bunker, portrayed by Carol O'Connor in All in the Family. I don't know if there's a lot that needs to be said. Everybody knows who Archie Bunker is. He is the epitome of just grumpy. Like, if there's no Archie Bunky, if there's no Archie Bunker, there is no Red Foreman. There is no Ron Swanson. Like, he is like the original gruff TV character. All these gruff, funny one-line TV characters, that's where it starts. Do the Venn diagram. He's right there in the center. Archie Bunker is next one on my list.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. I'll mention I do have a one of my favorite female actresses.
That's it.
Even today. Is
it Jenna Ortega?
It is not. Although she was very good on one of the Wednesday series.
She was.
Very good. And again, from Seinfeld, one more Seinfeld character, the great Elaine Bennis, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Love Elaine. You needed Elaine in this series. I mean, she was definitely brought out the frustrations of dating and all that. You get a lot of things from a woman's perspective from her on that show for sure. Just so many good moments for Elaine as well. Her temper, humor, laughing, the awkwardness. So many good things about Elaine. I don't know. So
the beautiful thing about it, though, is that they made her shitty.
Yeah,
like, they made her just as shitty as her friends.
That's right.
Like a lot of these shows back, whatever amount of years before this, would have made her the voice of reason, or she would have had her girl problems. No, she had like shit problems for like a shit time with their shitty friends. Like that's what the show was about, and she was an equal to every one of those guys, and in some ways a little more vindictive and shitty.
Yeah, superficial, selfish, all that type of stuff. Just dating guys to date, the whole thing. You're right. So, and unashamed.
Correct.
But the whole thing. But yeah, she was great. Yeah, so many great roles since, but I always liked her as an actress. But there you go. Elaine Bennis, one of my favorite characters of all time.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my next one. I don't talk about it much, but my high school years, I was the biggest fan of NYPD Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy Sipowicz, portrayed by Dennis Franz, was the most underrated, complex TV character there was.
Interesting.
He was the quintessential like anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
And like he started the show as just this. If you just watch the first episode of NYPD Blue, you just think like, oh, I hope this fucking racist cop, gets it in the end. But they treated the character like life. He grew and he learned and he changed and he became a better guy. He was still very flawed, beautifully portrayed by Dennis Franz. He was the first character, like drama character, that like put a tear to my eye watching his performance, like how he did some of these scenes. Andy Sipowicz was horrible and disgusting and flawed, but yet beautiful, given how Dennis Franz portrayed him and the choices he made, but to portray him. He made me love TV dramas. I'd watched some in the past and like, okay, that's cool. Well, that's a fun episode. That show and that character made me love and respect TV dramas. Hell, even probably movie dramas in that. So, yeah. Andy Sipowicz, portrayed by Dennis Franz in NYPD Blue.
Very good. Good one. Okay, I've got also Bob Newhart. Bob Newhart played. This is more of the Newhart. I think it was just Bob. I think he played sort of his own character in the Newhart. Of course, he had his own show, the Bob Newhart Show, the original one in the 70s. But he had one in the 80s, Newhart, where he was the hotel owner,
right,
with his wife and all that. I watched that show just religiously. That's another one that we watched with my parents. With him and his wife and Larry, Daryl, and Daryl brother, all that stuff, and the characters.
Brother Daryl's mother, brother Daryl. Yeah,
but he was such and as and I'm sure you're a fan as well. But he's such a good straight. He's funny, but he delivers his lines very straight, which is funnier. So
right. Like he didn't do setups. He did straight man jokes. He didn't do straight man setups.
Yes.
or straight man reactions. Like, he was like the joke teller, and with that character, you couldn't get any better.
Right. So just for him as an actor in television in general, he should be on the list, but I especially enjoyed him. I
100%.
didn't watch the original as much, but it's still funny. But certainly the Newhart in the 80s, I love that show.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely deservedly so. But my last one I have here on my list is definitively deservedly so. If you've been listening to this podcast and every time we go to say somebody, you keep yelling out this person, know that they were coming and they're here. And I want you to say his name. And his name is Walter White. To me, one of the greatest characters. Bryan Cranston, Breaking Bad, as Walter White. No Time. I'm sure they've tried it and attempted, but the way they took a good guy and progressively and understandably, because it wasn't like we're wrestling where somebody comes hit somebody with a chair, you're not bad. Like, you watched like the divulsion and the madness. And he portrayed Walter White as so real and pathetic. And not only he went, like, you're looking at this line here, right? He's good and pathetic. He dips down into bad guy, but like also gets away from pathetic and rises into like kind of a badassery. But like, there's still, like, towards the end of the series, there's still certain scenes where like you saw the old Walter, like the pussy Walter, you know what I mean? Like he never, like, just like everybody, like, no matter how your personality changes through time, you always have that little bit of like old you in there. And you never lost that with Walter. But Walter still became a criminal, still became a bad guy, still became a badass. But there was still it was still that very hint of Walter White, from the beginning, and that's the brilliance of that character. So Walter White, Bryan Cranston, Breaking Bad.
Very good, excellent choice. Okay, I'll give you one more here.
Let's hear it.
And this character was one of my most fondest characters as a child growing up here, so I have to put him on my list here. Watched this show all the time as a kid. Loved it. And really, it probably is from a fictional father perspective. Thinking back here, probably my first favorite one. So. And you think back through there, it's like this guy was a strong father, loved his family, had kind of a temper. The great Fred Flintstone. How about that? So
nice.
Played the voice by Alan Reed, the original. So
yeah,
Alan Reed's voice will always be in my brain until I can't remember anything anymore. So just voiced that character so well. Obviously, the Flintstones are based on the Honeymooners, with Jackie Gleason. That's where they got the idea, whatever. But still, just always loved that show. And Fred was always one of my most favorite characters. It was sort of not quite the Homer Simpson level, but certainly an influence on that character, I'm sure, over time, But like I said, at the end of the day, this guy loved his family, working hard. He was not calling off of work. Went to work every damn day in the stone quarry, trying to make a nice life for his family. Friends a pain in the ass, whatever. It's just always loved Fred Flintstone. There you go.
Again, he is the archetype, the beginning of all of these other characters. There is no Homer Simpson. There is no
Peter Griffin.
Peter Griffin. fuck, there's no Dan from Roseanne. You know what I mean?
Sure,
A lot of
yeah,
these people
that's right.
pull from kind of that simple cartoon archetype, because the beauty of it was that it was one of the first cartoons in prime time. It was one of the first cartoons not centered or focused to children.
That's right.
And
That's
you
right.
needed a character like that was Jackie Gleason-esque, you know, to cover that bridge from kids cartoons to adult cartoons. And
That's right.
who better to do it than Fred Flintstone?
That's right. That's right. You know, we should also mention Al Bundy. Sorry, I don't need
Of course.
Al Bundy.
Yes, there you go.
Al Bundy.
Well,
Hey, you know
I
what?
think he gets his own special wing.
That's right. You could also say, and then the guys from Modern Family as well. I don't need on
Sure.
that show, and then the other guy, also great characters as well. So many out there. Any last ones you want to mention, sir? There's probably 1,000 more we could talk about.
There's 1,000 more, but you just gave me an idea.
Mhm.
We should do a versus episode.
Mm.
People that's done multiple big characters, like you said, Modern Family, and do a versus argument of who's better and why, and you can go Indiana Jones and Han Solo. You know what I mean? Versus.
I like that. I like
a versus episode. All right.
Yeah.
We'll work the details. It's a little fuzzy right now, but I like versus.
That's right. That's good.
Yeah, but
we'll
that's all. That's like you said. There's 1,000 more that we're missing, and if we did miss any that you hoped was on our list, give us your list. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email us. Convincing Idiots. Why don't you say it, because I don't remember it?
At email.com. I'm kidding. Convincing Idiots at Gmail.
Gmail. That's right.
Gmail.com.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe ask that new Bing chat browser.
Sure. Who's the
test that out and
greatest
see.
character? Yeah. Ask them who the greatest character is.
A couple of things. You can ask what the greatest character is. You can also ask what our email address is, perhaps. I'm sure it'll immediately come up with an answer for you within 0.2 millimeter, 0.2 seconds, I'm sure.
Sure.
Yeah. You know what? By the way, we're talking about the browser real quick here. If you asked one of the best places, before I forget, one of the best places to get a tattoo in the Northeast Ohio area, it probably is going to tell you to look up the Golden Heart Tattoo over in Norton, Ohio. You can find them also on Facebook at Golden Heart Tattoo. They've done work on all of us here. Scott Oswald and his partners. goldenhearttattoos.com website, or give them a call at 234-706-2982. Maybe get yourself a George Costanza tattoo, maybe a Kramer tattoo,
Scott Oswald is an amazing artist, but I do want to give a shout out. Greg Pramick is his partner in crime over there, both co-owners of that beautiful tattoo shop. So Greg and Scott, you can't go wrong, whoever you make that appointment with.
You're correct. I think Greg's done work on, at least Nick, is Greg done work on you as well, sir?
No, Nick is, Greg does all Nick's work. Scott does mine.
There you have it. Okay. Yeah, check them out. So Dean, another great episode, sir.
Oh yeah. It was fun. We do miss Nick. We hope that the welts go away and she unties him and everything's okay. But buddy, we I think we pulled it together for you for this episode.
Absolutely. And we'll give our listeners and viewers a final reminder where we can be found. Look us up.
Do you do voices?
No.
All right.
That's all right.
Will you at least put a butt plug in while you do it? You gotta be Nick somehow.
That's right. I have one in now. It's
good.
It's keeping me excited and enthusiastic.
You get
right.
excited and you hear.
Yeah. I have enthusiasm flying out of my asshole. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yes.
So
sorry, my bad.
I'm doing the voice of George Costanza right now. Can you hear it?
Yes, it's very good.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like your original Rich Little. And again, nobody's going to get that fucking reference. Just you and me and a couple older fucks that are listening.
If you're 40 plus, if you're
Right.
over 50, you probably know who Rich Little is. If you're 40, you're pushing it. No, if you're a millennial, no, you have no idea who Rich Little is. No, it's like Chicken Little. No, not Chicken Little. He was an
Rich
impressionist
Little.
in the 60s and the 70s. Yeah, quite a pretty funny man, actually.
He was.
Yeah. Anyway, if you might be listening to us on podcast, but you can look us up on podcast platforms. If you listen to podcasts, give us a follow, subscribe. Look us up on YouTube at Convincing Idiots.
Rate
Look us up
and
on
review.
Please do. Look us up on the Boss Code Media TV network and our Linktree page, Linktree Convincing Idiots, and our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. Check us out. Come back. We appreciate your support. Dean, any final words for our audience?
No, just listeners out there, tell your mom I'm ready to check some oil.
That's right.
You were ready for that one.
That's hard to follow. Also, the note, I am Gen X Brian.
Zenio Dean.
And if we convinced you to check your oil and listen to the Convincing Idiots podcast for all your pop culture and nerdy discussion needs.
Hey there, if you like that video, or if you just like to watch us make fools of ourselves, please like and subscribe to this channel. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you back here.